Hello, Chris from Channel X here, and delighted to be with Cas, CEO of OnBuy, to talk about some really exciting OnBuy news. But first of all, welcome, Cas. How are you?
Yeah, great. Thank you, Chris. It's a pleasure to catch up. We've been talking for years, haven't we, since I started OnBuy? So great to get some FaceTime.
Yeah, and OnBuy, I've got to be honest, Cas, I have seen so many marketplaces start up over the years and sadly do nothing. If I look right back to when we started the Channel X, when it was then Tame Bay, one of the first marketplaces I wrote was a really exciting startup called Tasbar. They did TV adverts, they promised the earth, but unfortunately, every single marketplace that we've spoken to since then that is a young UK startup hasn't made it. So what made OnBuy different? How did you drive OnBuy to become, I think, the fourth biggest marketplace in the UK after sort of Amazon, eBay, Etsy?
Yeah,
How
yeah,
did you
and
do it?
it's interesting. When we started, we knew that there was something. We had a gap, an element we could play for. If we just rewind a minute before I started OnBuy, my background was helping e-commerce businesses to scale through technology, and not just e-commerce, but tech companies to scale as well. So a lot of insight into the world of tech, internationalization, growth strategy. Um, a lot of e-commerce businesses that I work with were trying to enter new markets and scale, and marketplaces became a big part of that strategy. And working with those sellers when we were scaling into Italy or France or Spain or wherever it was, um, you know, how to leverage the power of marketplaces was usually a really strong conversation for accelerating e-commerce brands. But what we quickly learned over a period of like 10 years, really, of working with the likes of these big platforms without naming names, is how I had to advise retailers to strategically work with those marketplaces and all of the caveats that came after year and having to explain play in this marketplace is great for your business. You'll accelerate, keep your eyes on your own platform, but use this platform. It's great incremental growth, keeps you, use it to drive down cost of scale, use it to drive up product performance. And then quickly the conversation changed into, okay, play in this marketplace, but play carefully. They will try and take your products. They will try and learn your data. They will try and get you from this angle, that angle, another angle. And then very quickly, and if you fast forward to more recent times, play on the marketplace. But if you really want to stand out, you're going to have to advertise. You're going to have to spend lots of money. So the playbook just kept evolving, but it felt to me like the playbook was moving less and less seller centric. In fact, to be completely blunt, less and less customer centric, because the knock on effect of not working well with sellers meant that effectively I felt that some of these platforms are just going to become, big adverts and led towards products that have higher margin or another strategic value to that platform. So I realized if we launched a platform that really sided with sellers, i.e., we build strong relationships, we're not here to compete, we don't want to use or resell data, we're not ever going to be a retailer. Um, that down the line, if you fast forward a few years, we could start to deliver strong value for consumers, and therefore through the growth of the platform, ticking those trust and credibility boxes with the consumer, it was only going to serve to benefit the seller, and we're going to create another channel, but we're also going to give significant value to customers and give them a reason to shop with OnBuy and come back to OnBuy. And I think what you're seeing now in the market is really the effects of that vision that we had, 6, 7 years ago when we started developing OnBuy, and what we predicted we would be able to achieve, we've actually started to achieve. So for us, it's like validation that we've been able to really do what we said we would.
Yeah, and I think it's fantastic because if you look at the Channel X archives, you'll find that we've tracked your traffic to the site over the years, and we've watched it grow and grow and grow. And you've done a fantastic job of signing up really great retailers and brands to sell on the platform. But the one thing that I think has perhaps been missing is that real convincer for why a consumer should shop with you. There's lots of choice. There's retailer platforms. You can search shopping search engines, loads of marketplaces. Why would someone buy on OnBuy? And you've now got the news, and I'll let you tell everyone the news, but you've got this news, which is a really compelling reason why a consumer should shop on OnBuy. And I think that the reverse of that is also true. It's an even more compelling reason why a retailer should be listing to sell on OnBuy. But tell us, what have you just released this week that is going to make every consumer really keen to shop on OnBuy?
Yeah, well, it's just a slightly elongated answer, but I think a good conversation. When we started OnBuy, we knew we had to do something to drive additional consumer value and draw a differentiation line between us and other platforms. But when we started OnBuy, the vision was to do something that delivered additional customer value, but to launch it at the start of the journey meant that we perhaps were going to be so different from other platforms that retailers might not take the jump on the platform. So we almost had to say, okay, look, we've got some ambitions to deliver these extra customer value pieces of the business that will really make customers want to bond with OnBuy and grow. But we need to launch them at the right time. So for us, we took the decision, once we've become viable, credible, trusted in the market, that's when we would enact the next vision of the platform. And we realized in 2022 that time was now, and we started to work towards our ambition. So we're pleased to announce this week that we're the world's first cashback marketplace. And the idea of this concept is that we want to show our customers that we reward their loyalty on our platform. We reward the fact that they want to engage and continue to engage with OnBuy. And unlike other platforms where they might incentivize customer behavior for new transactions and new customers, and actually say, no, this isn't applicable for recurring, you're already in. We realized that it was essential to do the opposite. We do the opposite all the time, but in this case, it was the opposite. It was, let's give the customers who are the most loyal the most value. Let's build an ecosystem where customers can learn that once you are in with OnBuy, your loyalty is rewarded. And therefore, why would you want to shop anywhere else? I asked my team a couple of years ago, because not everyone in the company knew the vision, because it's been years that we've been talking about the vision, but we've had to keep it a secret, even from our own team for a while, because we didn't want it to leak out, didn't want it to accidentally get dropped.
Understandably.
So, there's a journey that you go on as a founder, keeping some things back, thinking one day. And one of the things I did in a Christmas party in the end of 2021 was I stood up with the team and I said, the day we answer this question is the day that OnBuy will fly, really fly. We're already the fastest growing e-commerce business in Europe. We think we're going to hit that again this year. We're growing very, very quickly, but really fly, and the question was, if I have this £500 item, let's say watch on Amazon, and this £500 watch on OnBuy, why would a customer buy the £500, same price, same seller, same everything? Why would you buy from OnBuy rather than Amazon? Now, there's two ways to look at answering that question. One is the long vision that OnBuy becomes a credible, trusted, service-orientated, consumer-centric platform that they learn over time they can trust. That's an answer. But they've already got a lot of that with other platforms. So how do you accelerate that? We're getting more and more customers because we're British. We're getting more and more customers because we're ethical. We're getting more and more customers because we work with sellers. We're getting more and more customers because we offer strong price points for sellers that mean they can compete a little bit against other marketplaces. And there's more to play for because we're not as ad-centric as other marketplaces. And that's been really exciting. But what could we do as a catalyst? And when we knew that by launching cashback, we can try and drive user change, because we can make customers go, do you know what? Yes, I want to be in this ecosystem. I want to be rewarded. I want to be in the OnBuy club where I can get value. And now you can answer the question, why should I buy that £500 item from here or here? Because you say, well, actually, I get rewards if I buy it here. So it's the same item, same seller, and now I get rewards for shopping with OnBuy. So we knew we could accelerate the growth of the platform through, benefiting the customer.
And I think we've got to ask the question, there are a lot of cashback sites out there, and I know people on other marketplaces, they'll log into Top Cashback or Quidco or whatever, and they'll get cashback, not through the marketplace, but through a third party. But I think it's important to let people know just how much you're going to reward your most loyal customers by, which I think, if I'm right, is 7.5%. And I've looked at these other sites and they're offering kind of 0.5%, 1%, 1.5%. No one's offering anything near 7.5%. This is really massive, isn't it?
Yeah, you can imagine it. For us, this is a huge, huge, huge piece of our profitability, a huge chunk of our margin that we're giving back. It's not from the seller. We're not charging the sellers for cashback. So this is OnBuy basically rewarding customers. And 7.5% is a huge
It's
percentage to be
massive.
offering. Yeah, it's massive. And it's a real valuable commodity that the customers can use, withdraw, keep, use against next spend. The other thing to mention is cashback websites. So when we started to investigate the cashback market, a lot of cashback websites, their terms and conditions are ridiculous. You can go on and you can get 1% on this website, that website. And if you read, it says excludes promotions, excludes deals, excludes this, excludes Apple products, excludes something else. And actually, the more and more reports coming through as we start to do significant user testing, significant user research, was more and more customers were using cashback websites, and their cashback was actually getting rejected. And they didn't really understand why. And they wait 120 days before they can have the cashback. And the cashback websites are trying to monetize. So they're trying to do things like monthly subscriptions they enter you into that you didn't realize you were going to pay, and various other things. So the whole cashback market started to feel very spammy, started to feel quite untrustworthy. Am I going to get it? Am I not going to get it? Did I remember to click it? 70 odd % of customers, when they were looking at cashback, said they just forgot to use it, or couldn't be bothered.
Yeah.
Forgot or couldn't be bothered to use it. Got it in the
Or I'm
bank.
on my
Got it here.
mobile and I haven't got time to
Yeah,
log into it. Or
absolutely. So, it's just like, oh, whatever, it's 1%, I won't bother. So we said, look, if we're going to do this, we have to completely simplify the model, the market, completely disrupt that market as well. So with OnBuy, you buy something, you get your reward immediately, and that reward is available to spend immediately. So you can buy something on OnBuy today for £100, get your £7.50 back, and you can effectively spend that £7.50 immediately. Like, you don't need to wait. And if you want to withdraw it, we only make the customer wait for the delivery date plus the returns period. So in most cases, it's get the product, and then it's 30 days straight after getting the product. So for us, it means that we can act faster, we can deliver value faster. And because we've got that ecosystem of products, we're not a cashback website. We're a marketplace, and it allows our customers to get the direct and most immediate benefits of the cashback, use them, save them, withdraw them as part of our ecosystem, and not need to track through any third party or rely on any tracking or anything like that. Simplified the whole thing.
so all you've got to do is log into your OnBuy account before you make the purchase, which you're going to have to do anyway. Now, I think this is really interesting because everyone's talking about the cost of living prices and the spiraling and energy costs and food costs, everything. I think coming to this Christmas, people are still going to want to have a Christmas. And I think by Christmas time, if people have got a couple of kids and they spend £100 on each child, plus a few, maybe a new Christmas tree or whatever, they're going to have that money coming back to them in January, which is the time everyone's pretty poor, to be honest. But talk to me about how the loyalty goes and how I get to build up to that 7.5%, so that by the time I'm doing my Christmas shopping, I'm getting the maximum coming back.
Yeah, and that's interesting. We've launched cashback as an MVP at the moment. So what we're working on right now is we've given every single OnBuy customer a 7.5% cashback voucher in their email. Every single person who's ever shopped with us has been put in the highest tier of cashback for the launch of our cashback platform. That takes everyone to the end of August. And what we're working on in the background now is to basically understand all of our data and draw a line, some cuts, and say, by the end of August, we can communicate with our buyers what they have to do to keep the 7.5% up, what tiers we're actually installing. We didn't launch the tiers with the launch of cashback because we wanted to learn how users behave with the cashback to be able to draw some strong lines. So for now, if you check your email and you bought from OnBuy before, there's a 7.5% voucher sat there waiting for you. If anyone wants to try cashback, find me on LinkedIn, message me, and I'll send you a 7.5% voucher. So, this is the promotional period. By the end of August, we'll actually draw the loyalty lines where we say, and don't quote me, but spend X, you get this percent in, if you spend X in a month or 3 months or whatever, you get this percent. And we've got a team of data scientists and our retention team working to draw those lines so we can go, these are our most loyal customers, these are loyal customers, these are newbies. And how do we draw the lines so that we can basically explain to people how they get in those tiers? So by Christmas, everybody knows what to do.
So this is really important because what you're telling me here is that you're not just giving people a reason to make one big purchase on OnBuy because I'm going to spend, let's say I'm buying a new TV and it's a laptop and I'm going to spend 500 quid, and in August I'm going to spend 500 quid and I'm going to get sort of 37 pound odd back as cash back. What you're telling me is that if I keep spending on OnBuy, I'm going to keep getting that highest tier of cash back, which is not a reason to make one big purchase on OnBuy, but a reason to make loads of purchases, whether they be big purchases or little purchases. Every time I make a purchase, if I'm in that highest tier, every time I buy, I'm going to get cash back. And okay, if it's a £10 purchase, I might be getting less than a pound back, 75p or whatever. But if I'm a £100 purchase or £200 purchase, or more importantly, if I'm one of these people that buys lots of things online and it's maybe £10 here, £20 there, £30 there, it all adds up, and it's building that customer loyalty and giving people a reason to shop with OnBuy, as opposed to the easy option that they've always used in the past.
Yeah, it's the cumulative customer lifetime value. For us, it's trying to get the customer to learn that to move shopping behavior to OnBuy, buy the things you might not have previously bought, because some customers come to us for specific things and they think, well, I buy my cat food somewhere else, I buy my something else somewhere else. But actually, you look at the cumulative value across all of your shopping, earn yourself the top tier through relatively low friction. We're not trying to make this high friction. We just want someone to buy something every month or whatever, something minor, and therefore move your shopping behavior and get the maximum reward. So actually, that means that the customer can look at that cumulative yearly spend and think, well, hang on a minute, how much do I spend on Amazon? If the seller exists on OnBuy, if the product exists, because we don't have everything yet, we're still a growing marketplace. If the products exist, buy them on OnBuy, get the reward, grow the reward, and you can withdraw that reward to your bank account at the end of the year. You can spend it you could just spend it monthly in the purchase. You cut it however you want, whatever you're comfortable doing. But basically, yeah, the loyalty is rewarded, and that means it's spread across all of your purchases. And we're trying to incentivize that change. Now, for our sellers, which is where this is most important, especially for this channel, what we're expecting over the next 6 months, and this is why it's so important to sell on OnBuy now, or if you've tried it before and you want to, it didn't work because we were smaller or whatever, now's the time to do it. And the reason why is because we've got more customers with increased value, both in their cashback balance or because they've got a voucher, looking for completely different things that they've not looked for before. In fact, a lot of these customers may never have actually shopped on OnBuy. They may have just landed on OnBuy from a comparison, from wherever, and they bought the thing that they were looking for and they've exited. Now the customer is thinking, oh, I've got £10 cashback. What can I spend £10 cashback on? What was it I needed? Or they're thinking, I got 7.5%. I'm going to change. I'm actually going to start looking to get my dog food, my cat food, my baby food, my whatever the things that they buy, the consumables, the products. And they're thinking about Christmas. 7.5% back at Christmas is considerable. So, and our 7.5% tiers are expected to run right through Black Friday, right through the Christmas period. No exceptions, no exclusions, every item. There's no cutouts or carve-outs at OnBuy. So we're trying to build a significant, genuine value that's transparent for our customers. So for sellers, now's the time to list with OnBuy, because now's the time to understand by the end of this year, how are our consumers going to behave with this product, and what differences we're going to see. We expect them to be considerable. We've only been online with cashback for a few days, and already in that few days period of offering 7.5, we're seeing sales of things that have never sold on OnBuy before. So we're starting to see customers take that value of the thing that they do buy on OnBuy or have bought on OnBuy, and they're looking to spend that value in things that they've never considered OnBuy for before, because maybe they buy that on I don't know, Amazon, and it's the same price. And why bother? I've got Prime, I'll use it. And now we've devalued Prime. We've said to customers, actually, do you really need this thing tomorrow? Do you really
Yeah,
need
and
it? Because it was
I've
the
got to be
same
honest, on
price.
things like cat food, I always stock it up. You can't have the cat meowing with no food. So, and you can get it on OnBuy, so check it out. Now, the important thing I think as well to point out is initially you've already earmarked £10 million for cash back, which at 7.5%, this is like 100, no, more than £100 million worth of sales that you've already set the money aside on for cash back. So for retailers, the only thing they've got to do really is get their product listed on OnBuy. So before I let you go, Cas, for those that have never sold on OnBuy before, where do they go to sign up to become an OnBuy retailer or a brand selling on OnBuy?
Yeah, it's really easy. You just go to onbuy.com/sell. And from there, fill in the registration form. One of our team will be in touch. If in fact there's two. There's one if you just want to crack on, you can crack on, and if you want to speak to someone, there's a form to register, so you can ask all your questions, speak to the team. We've made it really straightforward. We're currently onboarding around 500 retailers per month onto OnBuy, so we've got a very fluid process of working with sellers, and we're really hungry right now to bolster our catalog with lots and lots of different products and tap into what customers are looking for. There's an interesting fact on OnBuy that hopefully will become less and less so over the time, but at the moment, 50% of what our customers look for on OnBuy, we do not have. Now, that's an interesting fact that shows the size of the opportunity on OnBuy. Customers are trying to spend money. The products do not exist. That's fascinating. Or they exist, but they're sold by someone at a ridiculous price, which we also class as non-existent. So for now, there's such a massive opportunity to get on, list products, same as other marketplaces, except OnBuy has a growing fan base, a growing loyalty customer base. It's a great time to sell with us and try and extract value from OnBuy now.
Yeah, and I can imagine that 50% is going to be a real problem over the next few days, because once people twig onto the cashback, they're going to be looking for everything on OnBuy. So if they spend £100, they get £7.50 back. They'll be thinking, okay, I need this and this and this. Oh, I can only buy 2 of those things on OnBuy. One of them I can't. So for retailers, that is your big opportunity to get on with OnBuy now, and especially in time for Q4, Black Friday, Christmas period. Now is the time over the summer months when things are generally a little bit quieter to get on board. So, Cas, I want to thank you so much for your time today. But what I'd love to do is come back maybe in 3 months or 6 months' time and see how much of that 10 million you've managed to give away in cashback, and give us an update on how the program is running.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that would be fantastic. Let's do some learning and regroup.
Fantastic. Cas, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Cheers, Chris.